Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a story of sheer, unadulterated willpower. Just imagine the deafening roar of tens of thousands of fans under those electric stadium lights. We're retracing the ultimate football journey of Cristiano Ronaldo. We'll be dissecting a career that completely transcends sports, serving as a masterclass in discipline, evolution, and relentless ambition. So if you've ever wanted to understand how a legacy of 900 goals is actually built from the ground up, you are definitely in the right place.
Okay, let's dive right into this. When you hear raw, explosive commentary like that, you immediately feel the electricity, right? It perfectly captures the sheer awe this player has commanded over 2 solid decades. But here's the thing, magic on the pitch? It doesn't just happen by accident. It's engineered through sweat, tactical brilliance, and an absolute refusal to be second best. So let's jump into this epic chronological journey and see exactly how a teenager with raw potential forged himself into a global icon.
Chapter 1. The Manchester United Breakthrough. Forging an Alliance. Those early days in England were an absolute crucible. It was a period of rapid growth that severely tested a young player's ability to adapt to some seriously grueling physicality. And honestly, nothing tested that quite like the summer of 2006. If we look at the timeline, the 2006 World Cup was a massive flashpoint. Cristiano Ronaldo and his Manchester United teammate Wayne Rooney clashed heavily on the international stage, culminating in a red card and just intense media scrutiny. The tension when they returned to club football was completely suffocating. But here is the ultimate lesson in sportsmanship and emotional intelligence. They put all that personal friction aside for the shared goal. The reconnection was basically instantaneous. Rooney provides the perfect ball, Ronaldo scores. They proved that shared ambition can completely overwrite personal conflict, and in doing so, they created one of the most lethal attacking duos in football history. Now, what's really interesting about this next part, Chapter 2, Champions of Europe 2008, the Moscow Thriller. That restored alliance laid the groundwork for total domestic dominance, which eventually led them to the absolute pinnacle of European football. Picture a glowing tactics board for a second as we break down this chaotic, back-and-forth penalty shootout in the pouring Moscow rain. We see Tevez and Carrick score. Ballack and Belletti answer right back. Then Ronaldo steps up, and he's denied by Peter Cech. You can almost feel the weight of the world crashing down on him. Then Chelsea's John Terry steps up to win it all, but he slips in the pouring rain and hits the post. Just a tiny, fateful slip. The momentum completely shifts. Ryan Giggs scores, and finally, Edwin van der Sar pulls off a heroic save against Nicolas Anelka. It is a true masterclass in the razor-thin margins of elite sports. Ronaldo's devastating miss was immediately absolved by the collective resilience of his team. The outcome was truly historic. 50 years after the tragic Munich air disaster, 40 years after their first European triumph at Wembley, 9 years after the miracle at the Nou Camp, Manchester United ruled Europe again. Delivering a milestone like this requires not just talent, but a deep understanding of the historical weight of the shirt you're wearing. For Ronaldo, this was the moment he undeniably became the best player in the world. Moving right along to Chapter 3, Rivalries and Epic Strikes. But you know, being the best isn't a permanent title. It's a daily lease, and the rent is paid in goals. Take this number right here, 40. That represents the distance, in yards, of an absolutely unbelievable physics-defying strike. I mean, hitting a ball from 40 yards out with enough velocity and dip to beat a world-class goalkeeper isn't just about leg strength. It requires flawless biomechanics and immense, unbreakable confidence. Strikes like these cemented his status as an absolute offensive powerhouse who could score from literally anywhere on the pitch. But to truly understand his drive, we have to look at the ultimate push-and-pull dynamic of the era. On one side, you have Leo Messi. On the other, Cristiano Ronaldo. The commentary from the sources highlights this beautifully. Messi would score a crucial goal against an English club. The commentators would declare, Leo Messi is still Leo Messi. And within days, Ronaldo would respond with something spectacular of his own. So the crucial point here is that this rivalry wasn't a deterrent. It was the ultimate catalyst. It forced him to continuously elevate his game, to consistently step back into the spotlight and reclaim his stage. And to reclaim that stage, he had to evolve his tactical awareness. Let's break down this classic Real Madrid attack. Step 1, Luka Modrić makes an excellent, penetrating run to break the defensive lines. Step 2, Ronaldo doesn't just run blindly. He intuitively reads the play and drops back or darts laterally to create just a fraction of a yard of space. Step 3, Modrić finds him, and it's a lethal, stunning finish. This highlights a critical lesson for any student of the game.
World-class execution relies heavily on world-class collaboration and spatial awareness. And this brilliantly illustrates what happens when you combine raw athleticism with insane discipline. Listen to that commentary. Executing an overhead bicycle kick in the knockout stages of the Champions League against Juventus isn't just a physical feat, it's practically absurd. It is a massive mental hurdle. Think about it. You have to calculate the trajectory of the cross, coordinate your body in midair, and strike the ball with perfect timing, all while completely upside down. It requires decades of invisible, disciplined training behind the scenes to make the impossible look that effortless. Which brings us to Chapter 4, Carrying the Portuguese Dream. Because, club glory is only half the story. The burden of carrying a nation's hopes introduces an entirely different kind of pressure, and the international journey was rarely smooth. It involved overcoming terrible collective setbacks like brutal defensive errors against powerhouses like Germany, where Thomas Müller capitalized. It meant dragging his team back into the fight, match after match, relying on the crucial support of teammates like Nani and Ricardo Quaresma. And when their backs were truly against the wall, like in the World Cup playoffs against Sweden, it meant putting the entire country on his shoulders and killing the Swedish dream with a ruthless, unstoppable hat trick in their own backyard. It is the very definition of relentless perseverance. Finally, Chapter 5, the ultimate milestone, 900. After conquering England, Spain, Italy, and Europe, there was one ultimate statistical mountain left to climb. A number so massive it almost sounds fictional for a professional footballer. Let's move to the final play and see how this builds. Step 1. Nuno Mendes finds space on the flank and whips a gorgeous curling cross into the box. Step 2. The timing, honed over a lifetime, is flawless. The perfect connection is made right there on Portuguese soil. Step 3. The ball hits the back of the net. The historic milestone is reached, and the raw emotion spills over, bringing tears to the eyes of a man who has already won absolutely everything. 900 official goals for club and country. It's not just a statistic, folks. It is a testament to over 20 years of waking up early, maintaining strict dietary discipline, recovering from painful injuries, ignoring the critics, and outworking every single person in the room. It is literally the architectural blueprint of greatness. So, we wrap up with this final thought. If a legacy of 900 goals is actually built on a foundation of early mistakes, bitter rivalries, tactical failures, and an endless, exhausting commitment to training, what impossible milestone can your discipline unlock? Take that energy, take that teamwork, and apply it to whatever pitch you're playing on today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and keep pushing your limits.